What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I want to address what's actually happening right now because the White House is going to be requesting more money. So I want you to get ready for another rescue package. This is going to be pertaining to COVID. Get us through this pandemic because according to the Washington Post today, the White House is preparing to ask Congress for more money to help fight this pandemic. The report, it indicates that another pandemic spending package could be easily on the way very soon. I want to address why. Because White House officials told the Washington Post that they have enough funding for immediate needs, but the problem is that Omicron is likely to go and continue behind and even past their current funding. And so that's the issue is right now, they're looking for different ways to provide another relief package to help with that and any additional costs that they may see or may arise in the future. Now, right now, there's enough funding for some stuff. However, the worry is that the Biden administration won't have the funding that they need in order to do some of their priorities. These are things that include, according to the Post today, things like ramping up vaccine distribution, which is a big one. This is one of the main things that President Biden really wants to do. Funding therapeutics is a big one. And then helping with the global vaccine efforts and really global vaccine shortage. So are we able to provide some funding to send vaccines to other countries that are not as well off as we are here in the United States? Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of questions and a lot of people are going to ask, why should we be sending out vaccines to other countries? Why should we be worried about the global vaccine efforts when we here at home can't even handle what's going on? We can't handle the situation right here. Honestly, Americans are fed up with the fact that a lot of the funding, the tax dollars that we're contributing to, these are being spent outside the United States, outside of this country. And at the same time, taxes aren't coming down. And we aren't actually seeing any additional relief, yet we're being asked to do other things. Some people are still waiting for their promises that President Biden gave them. These include things like $200 per month to help boost Social Security. This hasn't happened. Others are waiting for things like up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. This is one of the things that President Biden promised before he was president. This helped him get into office. And right now, all Americans are actually wondering, why are we seeing so much inflation when President Biden promised that passing the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan was actually going to lower our bills? Here's what it did. We got a $1,400 stimulus check, one-time payment. Great. We got child tax credit payments if you have children. Okay. But what else? What else was really in there? Well, there's a lot of stuff that went to states, cities, and a lot of these states and cities are hoarding this money. They have a surplus of cash. What do we have? We had a $1,400 stimulus check. We had $250 or $300 payments for 6 months, and the rest will come when we file our taxes. This was from the child tax credit payments. But in this bill, there was $100 billion for pandemic-related spending. There was $350 billion that went to states and another $650 billion that went to direct financial assistance. These were things like stimulus checks. Here's what I can tell you. The $100 billion that the federal government received for pandemic-related spending, this is going to be blown through. We've known this for months. I think for about 3 months, we've known that we're getting close to exceeding the amount of funding that we have. That creates an issue because the Biden administration wants to keep spending to keep fighting this pandemic, but at the same time, are we spending the money in the right places? This is what Senator Joe Manchin, this is what he wants to know. This was part of his request. So the issue right now is that President Biden has made way too many promises, and there's no way he can actually keep them all. But here's what we are hearing regarding the upcoming demand for more money. The request is actually going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And the reason for this is because, according to reports a couple months ago, we only have like 4 to 5 more months of funding. If that was 2 months ago, that means we have like 2 to 3 more months from today. That puts us in March or April of additional funding. But if COVID cases drop back down, things will look a little bit better. If COVID cases keep increasing, which that is the expectation at this time, is that they're going to keep increasing. But here's the good news. They will come down. The bad news is they will not come down far enough to be below what we were at in, let's say, 2021, spring or summer of 2021. We're going to be higher in COVID cases. Hospitalization and death most likely will be down. So that's the good news there. But here's a problem that we likely will have. Right now, we're going to likely see how big is this increase or this request for money going to be? Are lawmakers going to attempt to pack this bill with an additional agenda? Are they going to try to put some of the Build Back Better Act into this bill? We don't know. Will we see the child tax credit payments get pushed into this bill? It's possible, but again, we don't know. Will restaurants get any additional funding? Because that's what the big talks have been about. Giving restaurants money, but if you give restaurants money, you should give money to other businesses. And if businesses get money, you should give money to the American people, and so on and so forth. And will climate change be added here as well? In the end, what will Senator Joe Manchin think? Will he be supportive of this bill, or will he say no? He doesn't like it because it could potentially increase inflation even more. Now, I want to read you a statement from the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. And this is what she had to say this week, and I quote, "We did a major relief package that included helping restaurants just last year. We are in constant discussions with Congress and leadership about the needs of the American people, whether they are small businesses or restaurants or people sitting in their homes, as we continue to fight the pandemic." So, what does this mean? Does this mean that Congress is going to consider unemployment provisions? Is this what the White House is looking into? Is there going to be money for the American people? Stimulus checks, child tax credit payments, things of that nature. Will we see additional assistance for small businesses and restaurants? Because that's the true question right now. And finally, funding to help pretty much get this pandemic over with. Finally fund this to end it. Are we going to see enough? Or are we just going to have to wait and see? That's the expectation at this time. Is this going to be interesting to see whether the Build Back Better Act gets pushed into this bill? Because the very interesting thing is that when the Build Back Better Act was pretty much deemed dead on arrival, here we go. Here's a new bill. So we're going to see what happens here. But what I can tell you is this request for additional funding for the pandemic, it seems a little bit odd that it's coming right now. Right now that there's been absolutely no discussions on the Build Back Better Act, there's the new bill. So we'll see what happens. The request is supposed to be coming out very soon. The report was from today from the Washington Post. So we'll see what happens. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back, share all the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.